It reminds me of that quote, wherever you go, there you are.
Breaking right now with As Ever going down, so much so that people are now describing it as Never, with her podcast falling out of the top 100, and with Catherine stealing all of the attention at the most incredible ceremony yesterday for the HMS Glasgow. Of course, Ms. Markle has decided, how the heck do I get back into the public consciousness? I know, a really cringeworthy Instagram promotional video. Watch.
So I'm not sure if you've caught up on this week's episode of Confessions of a Female Founder, but it's such a good one. And it reminds me of that quote, wherever you go, there you are. That is what my conversation with Cassie is like, because 20 plus years later, so much has changed, and yet we are so much the same. So I hope you get a chance to watch. And in the spirit of memory lane, here are some behind the scenes videos from the making of our photo shoot for Confessions of a Female Founder.
Angela Levin, let's take a look at this photo shoot. But in reality, the timing of this is so transparent, isn't it? She cannot stand that Catherine was getting all of this incredible attention. She cannot stand that the headlines are now describing As Ever as Never, because it's still not stocked after 2 months. She cannot stand that Confessions of a Female Founder has dropped out of the top 100. And it just stinks, Angela, of desperation.
Yes, she looks such a mess as well. Why is that? I mean, she looks ridiculous. Well, she's desperate, she just has to be there. She has to be the best one. She has to be the one that that everybody wants to meet and see and know. And it comes down to whatever it is, she can't manage, because she makes a complete mess of it. She doesn't know how. She's not a business person. She can't do these things. And she's impatient and she doesn't wait. So just to show this is what happened over 22 years and I'm still very friendly and watch me, something like that she's just said. Well, it's a ridiculous behavior, isn't it? It's like a silly child who runs up to his mummy and says, I want it, not her. I want to grab it. And she just doesn't want anyone else to have it. But if you compare what she looks like and how she's looking up at the sky and everything's so wonderful, and you compare her with Catherine, particularly yesterday, when she gave the name to a ship, she looked completely stunning. She looked completely stunning at the the sort of garden party. And she seems to do it effortlessly. It's not that she's struggling with herself. Yes, look at that. It's just too gorgeous, isn't it? And so appropriate. And yet Meghan is a wreck. And all she keeps on doing are the same things about herself again and again and again and again, how everything's wonderful. But it's not, because she's in a terrible state and rumbling through it again and again.
I know, and it's just so obvious what she's trying to do, Angela. And remember, this has been the game plan, right, for Meghan ever since she first entered the royal family. It's like this obsession with Catherine, and she genuinely believes that stealing attention from Catherine is the way for her to succeed. But it's not, because we can see what she's doing. Yeah, it's the opposite.
It's absolutely the opposite. But people say, oh, not again. She's trying to push her face through that everybody sees it. And everybody's fed up with it, just completely fed up with it now. And I don't blame them. She can try doesn't try hard because it all goes wrong and she just leaves it, drops it, it's gone. But she's absolutely hopeless, really.
Well, Angela, I also just wanted to compare and contrast the huge difference of when we've seen Harry and Meghan in public recently, and it's been awkward and it's been uncomfortable. He's looked quite wired and disheveled, and there's certainly no natural chemistry between them. I mean, you can really tell how awkward things are. And I wanted to compare that, Angela, because we all know about that, with the wonderful moments that we saw in Glasgow between Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, yesterday. So there are a couple of little moments. So firstly, I'll set this up because it's just quite difficult to hear it. So in case you don't hear, but they're leaving, and someone says to Catherine how beautiful she looks.
Oh,
And then
yes.
another member of the public, he
Yes.
yells out and is like saying, "Oh, but William, you are too." And William's like, "Oh, you don't have to say that." It's just such a nice moment. Watch this.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that. Don't worry. And there's none of that jealousy there, because you've got to admit, Angela, there was jealousy between Charles and Diana from his direction. There certainly is a really awkward sense between Harry and Meghan. And there was just one other little moment which I thought was so beautiful and funny, when Catherine made a little mistake and William's laughing along, but he's laughing along, Angela, with real affection.
I think I am delighted to announce, I'm sorry, sir, that Her Royal Highness is the winner of the Pie
Isn't it wonderful, Angela?
Yeah, it's lovely. And, you know, she takes it as a huge joke and roars with laughter. And he roars with laughter as well and looks at her as if she's the most beautiful thing in the world, which she is really for him. And, you know, she doesn't say, oh no, and gets very nervous. It makes her laugh. And she does laugh a tremendous amount. She looks very well. She's worked very hard this last month. And I think she probably feels she's able to do more than she has been able to do, and that gives her a very positive looking. She loves looking after this country, doing things for it, helping in every possible way, and she now can, without, it seems, getting absolutely exhausted. Look, she sort of bends down, gets up. You know, it's not easy if you've been ill for a long time, but she just has a natural way of behaving. And I think that William has taken that to himself as well, because they have a very easy relationship. They're just sort of satisfied with each other. They're not looking in case somebody says something wrong and they can pounce on them, or someone didn't go first and they wanted to. I mean, Harry and Meghan, it's always who's going first, and she leaves Harry behind and he's very upset, and then he tries to get forward and stand in the front row for a camera, and she doesn't like that. She pushes him out the way. Now, you know, how can you have a good marriage like that? It's not important, is it? You just sort of stand where you are and take no notice. And I think that's what William and Catherine do, because they're naturally easy with each other. And Harry and Meghan, if they want to have a photograph, Meghan has to push herself into the middle and blow me about Harry. It doesn't matter where he is or what he's doing. And you can see that, and it's just very unpleasant.
Yeah, it is. It is very unpleasant. And I just think the contrast is so stark, and it was so predictable what she was going to do. But of course, Angela... Oh, sorry, you go.
Well, she hasn't tried, you see. I mean, if she'd gone to the royal family, she had a wonderful opportunity. But when she got there, she thought, oh, no, I'm not going to stand behind Catherine and William. They're not going to make me do that. I'm not going to wear the things they want me to. I'm going to do it my way because I know better, because globally, I'm number one. And she's just messed it up for herself because she wouldn't actually be a bit patient. Now, if you think when Catherine first joined the royal family, it was very, very difficult for her. She found it very, very hard what to wear. She found it very difficult how to speak, to make any sort of, you know, she didn't like to speak about anything through a mic. It was very uncomfortable for her. But she's waited and she's learnt, and she's now very confident. Whereas Meghan's in a terrible mess because she wouldn't listen and she won't compromise. So that's her choice.
Indeed. Very, very true. Now, Angela, there has been so much difficulty, though, with Meghan's business. And for a long time, she was able to cover this up because it's like, well, they sold out. They sold out really quickly. But I mean, there was such a tiny amount of product. We obviously don't have the exact numbers, but we know there was a very small amount of product. But the problem is, Angela, something new is catching on now, which is why she's so desperate to try and distract with these new social media posts, because as ever has become as never. Look at this from the Daily Mail. Big questions swirl over why Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand has not been restocked for nearly 2 months. And they write, nearly 2 months after it first launched, Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand is facing questions over why its sold-out products have still not been restocked. The Duchess of Sussex released her As Ever line, first teased more than a year ago under a different name on April the 2nd, with the limited pieces hitting her online site at eye-watering prices. The 8 products on sale included a wildflower honey with honeycomb priced at $28 and some flower sprinkles at $15. Meanwhile, a jar of raspberry jam set punters back $14, while the abundance of other goods on sale included shortbread and crepe mixes, both being sold for $14, alongside various herbal tea mixes for $12. But now, nearly 2 months later, keen shoppers who had initially hoped to get their hands on the exclusive product range have been left bitterly disappointed. All of the sold-out stock is still unavailable to purchase online. At the time of the opening day, critics had begun to question the success of the 43-year-old's latest business ventures. It was claimed the items had been made available in small quantities and then quickly marked as sold out in order to generate interest. One industry insider told Mail Online, showing that there is a sellout is very common for new brands to fake demand. There is no warehouse full of jams. But it's not just the Daily Mail going there, Angela. It's Newsweek in America too, which used to be a big supporter of Meghan, but now says Meghan Markle's big mistake with As Ever lifestyle shop. And they quote Mark Bukowski, a UK-based crisis PR consultant and author, telling the Newsweek publication, the thing to do when you've got a narrative and you have some positive stories about how quick the stuff sold is you want to keep it going. So therefore, I'm always curious about what the true story is here. I don't know where this narrative goes. They often forget that the stories they post are scrutinized and have a long shelf life. As soon as nothing's happening, people ask questions, but therefore her PR has always been chaos. Maybe the fact it's not restocking gives them the opportunity to refresh the story, but there's just no logic. And now, of course, questions are going to be asked. Do they have the answers? Angela, do they? But first, don't eat breakfast until you learn about caloric bypass. Your breakfast is setting you up for the entire day to either gain weight or lose it. The term breakfast literally means to break your fast that you started the night before. About 4 hours after you eat dinner, your body switches from the nutrients we get from food to the stored glycogens we have in our body. Once glycogen stores are depleted, typically after 8 to 12 hours of fasting, the body shifts to burning fat for energy. Fatty acids are released from fat stores where they are converted into ketone bodies through a process called ketogenesis. Then, when you eat breakfast in the morning, the body starts the cycle again. This is where the caloric bypass comes into play. Dr. Gundry, a heart surgeon in California, learned that if you break your nightly fast with something called MCTs or medium chain triglycerides, you can actually keep burning fat throughout the day and use it for energy. But there are specific types of food that contain these NCTs. Using this breakfast breakthrough, he was able to lose 70 pounds just through diet, and he did this in his 60s. So you can find out all about it and his exact method by going to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken, or click on the link in the description box below. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, there is a QR code on screen right now. It is important to remember that everyone's body processes fat differently, and it all depends on your unique metabolic type, which is why in the video he released for my amazing viewers, he talks all about it. It's fascinating. Trust me, it might change the way you think about health. So go to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
Oh, they don't, do they? Otherwise, they'd sort it out. But it is a very strange way of behaving. But we have seen it more than once with Meghan, that she's very excited about something. She tells us far too early what's going to happen, but because it's getting so exciting. And then it doesn't. And so then she just goes silently for that particular thing and wipes it out. But the worst thing is that a lot of people have paid money to get the produce that they want, and she just hasn't provided that. So I think it makes people very angry, and you shouldn't actually take the money unless you know you've got some things there. I was told that they only had about 12 items. You know, if the jam, there was 12 jars of jam. So they could actually say in a true way, you know, we've sold everything. People were so happy all about it. But there's something now that's blocked it. And I think that to make such a fuss and then not be able to bring it out is ridiculous. But then she's not a businesswoman. She doesn't know how to be a businesswoman. And she just gives up on all sorts of things very quickly because she's bored with it. She doesn't want to actually analyze what she's done wrong and how to improve it. It just wiped out. She'll go on to something completely different now, and then on to something different, and then on to something different. That's what she's like. She won't accept that she's made a mistake, and she blames whoever's closest to her that it's their fault. And then she carries on, you know, strutting down the road. It's just extraordinary. I've never seen or heard of such a peculiar way of trying to be a very successful businesswoman. So I thought when she had all these people of talking to them, how they all have done well in their business, I thought, well, perhaps we'll get to see, you know, how these friends of hers have got their success, and then perhaps she will actually learn from that. But she never let them really say anything. It was all about, you know, her friends and what she's done and how she's done something. And this last one, which actually dropped out of the sky and disappeared.
It's not even in the top 100 now.
No,
all the
it's not.
publicity.
And it's a completely waste of time, a complete waste of time. And actually, she hasn't even sort of, she was talking about her babies, and she didn't know that she wanted to make a speech when she had one baby, but it wasn't like that and it was different. I mean, who wants to know that? I mean, how can she think that anybody's interested in that? You know, if you're a working woman, you're a career woman, you might be interested in the actual juggling around, but actually you're not interested in the detail that she wanted to make a speech and with her baby. You know, you have to tell what you think would be interesting to somebody else, not just what's interesting for you, isn't it? You
Totally.
can't, if you just wanted to talk about you would
But
bore
Angela,
everyone
she's
to death.
so good. She's so good about complaining how busy she is. So Fee, who does some brilliant stuff on X, pointed out this clip, which I just want to show you now from the Jamie Kern-Lima podcast.
The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that, and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line, and what's the cadence of it, and what's the photography that we want to do and what do I want to wear for those shoots, while also editing all the time-coded notes for season 2 of With Love, Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Okay, so there's that whole list, Angela, but then you actually look at the tweet, right, from Fee, who responds to that saying, still no restock, though. I've never known someone verbally spit out a list of trivial jobs so fast. Lay off the espresso, Megsy. She was simply justifying her work, or lack of here, advertising her low in the rating show and failed podcast. Most wives, friends, and mothers hold down full-time jobs, professions, and careers while juggling kids, running a home, having a social life, and enjoying their relationships. It's called real life. In my opinion, she's not a self-proclaimed superhero. She's a self-indulgent housewife with very little to offer society except poorly planned and curated vanity projects and talking about herself. No wonder the original creator of this put a background track on this clip. And it is astonishing, Angela, when you think of all of those things that she listed off, and it's like, but you're still not selling any product, which is surely the number one thing that Netflix wants you to be doing.
But the other thing is she's got lots of stuff, and actually you can actually hand over to somebody the very simple, ordinary things and say, would you mind doing this for me? I don't believe that she does everything herself and then have to complain how busy she is. You can actually ask people to do it, or you can prepare things and do it beforehand. You're not dashing around non-stop. I mean, life isn't like that, you know. If you want to give a lecture, you do it all beforehand, don't you? And then you give it, and then That's it. You don't have to put it in an envelope and put a stamp on the envelope. Oh my goodness, it's so difficult. It's madness to speak like that, isn't
Well,
it?
it is. But the thing is, Angela, we just all see through what she's doing anyway. Like,
Yeah,
look
we
at
do
what Fee
now.
also posted, right? Because it was this funny AI, AI images, Angela, which
Yeah,
aren't real, but they're very funny. And Fee wrote, arriving on Instagram in 3, 2, 1. And she's referring to the fact that Meghan will be so jealous over Catherine's incredible triumph with the HMS Glasgow. And it's true. It's like we see what she's doing. It's like clockwork.
yes. Yeah, well, that's it. She should give it up because it's eating into her. It's eating into her. And she should just say, well, look, she's like this. I can succeed like that because I'm not tied to a royal family. I can do what I want. I'm able to be free. Let me really do well. But she doesn't do that. She said, I've got to do something to make it me as well. I've got to make the picture me. It's a sort of extraordinary, actually. She's got to give up about,
Yes.
she's just got to give up about trying to take over
But she just won't.
from
She just won't. I
anybody.
mean, look at what the Royal News Network has posted about her new video this afternoon, Angela. This reeks of desperation. The numbers must be absolutely awful and unavoidable for Meghan, as she's now trying to actually pitch Confessions of a Female Founder to an obviously uninterested audience a week before its finale. Sorry, Meghan, this is too little too late. The show is a failure, and if you actually cared, you would have been doing this the whole time. Her hubris is always thinking her name will sell something, and it just doesn't.
Well, it does to a certain extent, doesn't it? Because when she was showing the clothes, which have also seemed to have disappeared, people were buying them very quickly because her name was on it. So, okay, she did the clothes, but now there's no sign of that either, is there? That's disappeared as well. So she's got no sense of how to organize herself. Whatever she feels is one thing, but when you're actually doing business, you have to think of it in a very different way. Organize, what's coming in, what's going out, who's doing what. She doesn't have to do everything her way. She can pass it on to other people as long as she's the queen of it, as it were. But actually, she just makes a mess of it because she's trying to do everything to show how wonderful she is, and it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And she was already spitting tax, Angela, we believe, earlier in the week, because Time 100 announced its philanthropy list. And even though Meghan had attended the Time 100 summit, she didn't make the list for her
No.
very limited philanthropic pursuits, but Catherine did. And of course, at that exact moment where Catherine and William make the list, oh, lo and behold, Angela, Prince Harry and Meghan leaked to People magazine that he had shocked a UK charity with a major donation amid a vow to continue charity work despite his security loss. And it's like, again, we see through this. Like this donation, Angela, of £10,000, which I'm sorry isn't much for someone of Prince Harry's means. It really isn't much. They announced that within 24 hours of Catherine appearing on the Time 100 list.
Yeah, they
And
wanted to cross her out so they could go take over.
but it's pathetic, Angela. I'm sorry, a £10,000 donation to an individual charity when we know that Harry and Meghan, they've admitted it, only work for 1 hour a week on charitable pursuits for Archewell. I mean,
Yes.
it's just ludicrous. It's embarrassing, but it's so pathetic. It's like, oh, I know, we've got to get some good news out about ourselves. Oh, I gave £10,000 to some random charity in the United Kingdom 4 years ago. Let's leak that to People magazine. I mean, this is just, it's almost becoming deranged, Angela. Sorry.
Yeah, it is deranged. It's already become deranged.
Yeah.
But it's not world. It's not their money. It's in Archie that travels through that. So it's actually not them giving their money themselves. It's just taking it out of the Archie magazine, and that's it. So it's worse than you think, actually.
Well,
But
they
there's so
they always manage to be worse than I think. I always think they can't go any lower, Angela, and then they manage to. It's like
no.
it's like this time last year, Angela, Catherine was off the scene because she was suffering from really terrible cancer and undergoing chemotherapy. It's like, are you not just able to give this woman her moment this year? You had all of last year when she was off the stage, but they just can't. They just cannot bear it because their jealousy is so off the scale.
Yes, I've never seen such jealousy shown so publicly. You can feel very jealous about people in your heart or quietly, but you actually don't try and get it on television or get someone to write about you saying how wonderful you are and doing all that. You have to swallow it, don't you? You have to eat it because you see someone with a better position than you. You think, oh, I wish I could have that. But you can either quietly work harder or do something that makes you look better or buy something. But when it's so obvious, people just laugh, actually. I
Totally.
mean, with Prince and Princess of Wales, they won because they were innovators
Yes.
and they created
Exactly.
a modern
And
royal
actually,
agenda.
yeah, they've done a huge amount. That's the point. Now, Angela, can we end though with something quite fun? Because actually, the thing I think that's probably getting to Meghan the most at the moment is that she's so desperate to be taken seriously. But indeed, in America, this is in America, it's not in the UK. The big comedians are now just realizing she's a punchline. This is the latest spoof. It's very, very funny from the American stand-up comedian Dana Moon.
Day in Montecito. Do you hear that? Do you hear the birds? Love bird song. Just want to dance to the birds, to the song of the birds. Or maybe that's my ginseng, ginger, jackfruit, hibiscus cocktail speaking. Hello, peasants. Today, we're going to be making sunflower seeds from sunflowers that grow right outside your garden.
Cut. What do you mean cut? I didn't call them peasants. I meant to say pleasants. Pleasant people. What's it saying? And the sunflowers that grow in my garden. Come with me as we go outside to see the sunflowers. Okay, so I need someone off screen to ask me when is the cookbook coming out. Just interrupt me. Hibiscus tea is my favorite. It is so refreshing after a hike or horseback riding.
Megan, when is the cookbook coming out?
Oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about the cookbook. I'm getting so embarrassed. I don't know.
Brilliant.
That's disgusting. Can we cut?
Oh, Angela, spot on, right? Spot on.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Because she's obviously very easy to mock because
Yeah.
you can sort of use all those fancy ways of how she talks and make everybody laugh. You know immediately it's Meghan, don't you? And the way say, oh, and all that stuff. It's her, and you just have to. You can judge it from any sort of female. Well, I expect the men could sort of dress up as her as well, and it would still be funny. So, yes.
And Angela, of course, if people want first access to our royal entertainment, which is a conversation, of course, every single weekday, just sign up to my Substack, www.outspoken.live. It is the best way as well to protect me from big tech cancellation. It means we can develop a direct relationship. You can message me directly, and I really would appreciate it. All you have to do is enter your email address, www.outspoken.live. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.